Hello and welcome. It's been a couple months, and there is a good reason for that, and I'm going to explain it at some point. But before we do, I do have just a couple of things that I would like to say beforehand. First and foremost, thank you very much indeed to, if I pull up the list, James, Big Tomo Fay the Block, Pete Staunton, Brad, Pete Wilson, Pete Body, Gaz Hooper, Dan Hines, Linda Hadfield, The Adams, CPPC Logistic Group, Airway Freight Management Limited, Ella and Mike, Falcon, Alex Evans, Andy Beckwith, Dave and April Airwave, who all donated before the 15th of June, and as such now feature on the decal. But I'd also like to say thank you to Robin Hallows and Gary Pollock, who have donated, but they don't feature because it was after the deadline. But still, thank you very much. Between all of you, you've raised nigh on 980 quid, and that's before you take into account the gift aid. So it's quite easy to say it's £1,000 now, and couldn't have done this without any of you. So thank you very much. As to what we've been doing, well, you may notice that the car looks a little bit different now. There's some stickers on it. We finally got round to putting all the stickers on, which took best part of, well, several days actually. The first day we were hampered constantly by rain, and then the second day we were hampered constantly by the sun. So in total it took 3 days. And most of it was applied on the third day because the stickers kept stretching on. Yeah, we ruined a couple of stickers, which I'm not happy to admit, because they kept stretching in the sun. We've had a bit of a heat wave in the UK for the last couple of days, which hasn't helped. Last couple of weeks, actually. It's only really just started to cool down, which is nice. But, as promised, I have the decals. I actually did an extra one that I wasn't going to do initially, but my dad suggested that maybe it'd be a good idea to advertise the fact that the donations are still open. They're open until October, I think, actually. So if you haven't donated yet and you do want to, please help yourself. There is plenty of time to do so. What I also did, again, not quite like I said I was going to, is it's actually a mirror of, well, it's not a mirror, but it's these on the other side as well. So there's 2 decals on each side. There's some other custom bits that we have done as well that weren't in the pack. First and foremost, we are advertising the brand a little bit. I say brand. There's just some little bits on there, which are just in case people wanted to, catch up on the old socials, which I may or may not post on occasionally. At least we're going to try. That's the plan. The powered by is, well, this was one of the sponsors. Yes, Tunnocks sponsor the whole thing, which is incredible, because we get in theory, we get like a massive pack of Tunnocks before we leave, which is just going to be hilarious. But the powered by, that's a custom job, which are just stenciled out and then stuck it on, really, so that's always fun. You may notice the hucking great big antenna on the roof. That's for the CB radio that we received. It took a couple of days just to actually, the hardest bit of that was mounting the handset, the microphone, onto the dash, because the sticker, or the adhesive that the pad came with, wasn't very adhesive and it kept dropping off on me, which was a bit annoying. Just removed the original adhesive and then just replaced it with some Velcro, which seems to have done the trick. Another little piece that we did do, I is cleaned the wheels, which they don't look very clean now, but I did clean them. And then they actually provided some Dunlop tyre paints, which I completely butchered the nib of, and then made a vague attempt to paint the Michelin on our wheels, which I've actually been complimented about that several times now. But if it still looked white, I'd be happier. but you can't have it all. As for the bits that we've done to the car, that's about it, really. I mean, we've acquired a mini fridge, which we hope won't run the battery flat. In theory, it should turn itself off before it gets to that point. One way to find out, I suppose. Jump leads are on order, just in case. The aircon. We did have a scare with that, actually, because, you know, it's getting a bit warm out in Italy at the moment. You know, we want to make sure that we're not sweating. So we wanted to just get it topped up with regassed before we left. And that is when we discovered, or that is when the garage discovered more, this particular garage chain, which we're not going to name, probably for legal reasons more than anything, that their machine didn't work. Apparently ours was the third vehicle that it had failed to extract the gas from. So they booked us in for another one, and I went home. And then we took it in the next day, and the garage immediately said that they'd emptied the system, and then the machine had tried to refill it, and it was just pissing refrigerant everywhere. Or, not pissing, obviously, because it's a gas. Or is it a liquid? Good question. Whatever it was, they could smell a lot of it. It clearly wasn't going into the car. And immediately we started panicking, because that was on Saturday the 28th. That was on Saturday the 28th. So that meant we had a week to get it fixed. And the problem with that is, in this particular area of the country, none of the garages seem to do any sort of aircon fixing. They only do aircon refilling, bar, so far, one that we found. Now, luckily, they could squeak us in on the Wednesday, and they was going to take a look at it. That was all they had the time for. And if they thought they could do something about it, buy the bits in, disassemble it, reassemble it, regas it, check it all worked, and if they reckon they could do that all on the Friday, you know, the day before we leave, then they would do it. And it was going to be close, but we didn't have any other options, obviously. So we went for it. We took it in, and there was nothing wrong with the car. The garage chains, I should explain, the garages that we took them into were part of the same chain. The third one was an independent. The independent garage had verified that there was no leak in the system, that there was still a considerable amount of refrigerant still left in the system, and whatever refrigerant was missing, they refilled, and that was it. Job done. Scare over. It was an expensive scare, 120 quid in the end, but, you know, we can't ask for everything. Other than that, we're pretty much ready to go now. We still need to pack, obviously. We have methods of cooking food. We have, obviously, I'm sleeping in the car. Dad has refused, and he said he wants to sleep in a tent, which is a bit boring, but, oh well, can't force him. Other bits include, we've still got a few leftover stickers. Mainly we just don't know where to put them without it just looking repetitive. But in case any do fall off, or people have bright ideas, we've kept a few of them back, so we can just lather them on, I guess. I did forget about one sticker, actually. I don't know if we're going to be the only team with this, but I got a friend who does a bit of graphic design on the side to design a little length of text, which is what's with the team name on it. So we've got that on the back, which should be fun. I say should be fun. There's loads of air bubbles actually in it. It's the only one where we've consistently been unable to get all the air bubbles out, which is really annoying, because all the other ones, bar the stretched ones and the ruined ones, went on with relative ease. So, you know, I do have a bit of OCD, but we can't complain too much. And finally, just again, big thank you to everyone who has donated so far. Here's your sticker. I hope it lives up to your expectations. And thank you to the others who have donated, but aren't named, You are the anonymous ones. You know who you are. I don't, obviously, but thank you very much. And also to the 2 who donated after the deadline, didn't end up on the sticker. Gary and Robin, thank you very much. Yes. Before we dip, we fitted new spark plugs. That was an adventure. That was several months ago, actually. That's before we'd done any of these decorations. We decided we were going to change out the spark plugs, which was mostly successful, other than there's a charge pipe. There you go. There's a charge pipe. It runs from the turbo over the engine and into the first of the 2 intercoolers. Now, to get at the spark plugs, you have to take the engine cover off. To take the engine cover off, you have to take the charge pipe off. But it was on replacing the charge pipe, we put the V-clip on. Probably not quite as well as we should have done. Obviously, it shouldn't be doing that. And then I've somehow managed to do about 300 miles before I then realised that the loud sort of jet engine noise is not coming from the air vents, it's coming from the engine bay, because the turbo is discharging straight into the engine bay. It's not going anywhere near the rest of the intake system. So there could be a little bit of damage done there. I'm praying nothing too serious and that it carries on, because it's actually really low mileage for its age. It's 90... well, I think it's just ticked over to 95,000 miles. Hopefully it hasn't done too much damage running significantly underboosted. With the engine being running rich or lean? By my reckoning, it was running with... well, it was running with less air than it would have been, so it had been running rich, I think. Probably, unless the ECU did something about it. So, and I think running rich is slightly better for it than running lean, but neither are brilliant, obviously. But yeah, gearbox is fine. Still haven't verified if it's a manual or an automatic that it came with. Still haven't verified if it's got the automatic or manual map, if it has come with an automatic gearbox. That's all minor stuff that can just be ignored for the time being. We don't need to worry about that. We don't need to worry about it at all. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, he says. I think that's everything now. No, it isn't. The radio, yes. The radio has decided it's going to develop an electrical fault. It now cannot stay... Don't you get lippy with me. It's now decided it doesn't want to... You quite done? It has now decided it doesn't want to... I'm going to shoot you and eat you in a minute. It has now decided that it doesn't want to stay on its current mode. It's got 3 FMs, 3 AMs, or is it 2 AMs? Might only have 2 AMs. CD and TV. And it continuously flicks between all of them. And that's annoying because I have to listen to music. I can't drive and not listen to some form of music. And so I have a little transmitter. It takes Bluetooth from my phone and it puts it into... well, it transmits it as a radio frequency that then the... Actually, where is the aerial on it? And it transmits it to an aerial somewhere, and then it plays it through the speakers as if it was picking up a normal radio station. That's fine. But if it's switching between FM 1, 2 and 3, and then AM 1, 2 and or 3, and then TV if it's feeling a bit quirky, but if it flicks between any of those, I stop listening to my music and I start listening to TalkSport 5 Live, whatever, if it's AM. And I don't really want to listen to that, if I'm going to be brutally honest. To be fair, it's not the first time that it's had this electrical fault, but it is the longest period of time that it's had its electrical fault is over the last week, in which it has almost been constant. And I hope it sorts itself out again, and then maintains itself for the 2 weeks that we're out there. But might have to acquire a Bluetooth speaker. I think it's about to rain. I should have brought a coat. Oh well. Other than that, I think we can wrap this up here. So, if you have enjoyed this very short, I say short, I'm at 24 minutes now, this shortish rambling, just sort of filling you in on the deets, there's nothing special for. I was gonna half do like a day today, which is what we get, or what Marco does. Either on the official page or the private page. I can't quite remember which way. I think it's on the public page. Certainly on Facebook, he uploads like a day by day report on what's happened, where they are, where they've been, so on and so forth. I was going to do that, but trying to upload a video when I think I'm limited to 12 or 16 gigs abroad, plus the fact that I'd have to record on a decent-ish camera, then edit it on an absolute potato of a laptop, and then, wow, that's coming quite quick, hasn't it? That is coming quite quick. Anyway, then upload it on a limited amount of data. It's just not going to work. So, plan is, record bits day by day, get home, put it all together, and then upload it. This is probably going to be the lowest quality of all the videos, which is ironic considering the significance of the main reason for uploading, which is all of you lot. Thank you very much. Like I say, I better wrap this up soon. Like I say, if you have donated, thank you very much. If you haven't donated and you want to, there's the QR code. But thank you very much. If you have enjoyed this little rambling, then give it a like. If you want to hear more of these ramblings, or maybe more what my first video was like, then do consider subscribing, hit the bell, and you may or may not be notified depending on what YouTube is feeling like doing these days, because I know the algorithm's all scuffed. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and until next time.